McClunky!
Lunky.
Where am I?
You guys.
What year is it?
The year is 2043. Cordyceps have taken over.
20XX. Damn, I kind of want
Is that
McDonald's
a
right now.
porn parody of it?
What? No,
Oh,
it's the year from Mega Man, you dude.
Yeah.
What the hell? How did you?
I see XX together, and I'm like, something's porny.
We need a third X there. It's not right.
Hey, everybody, we are here to talk about The Last of Us Episode 7, Left Behind. This is the one that I should not have read ahead on the episode list, because this was a huge spoiler for me.
Yep.
It was a huge spoiler. Oh, okay, this is the episode that you're talking about?
Yeah, like that. I was like, well,
title.
like, I'm gonna immediately... This is a flashback episode, so I knew that this episode wasn't gonna give us a whole lot in the now time.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, I even looked, like, was talking to Sai after this, I was like, I think whatever. Like, this one was kind of eh.
Yeah.
I think it was really good, but I mean, like, it just is kind of a bummer that it is taking away, I'd say, from the rest of the show.
Yeah, I was expecting, like, fucking high-stakes, situational, like, stuff happening. Is that Kaz? I swear to God, Kaz, it is.
He's so sneaky.
As soon as I hear anyone pop in during the stream, it's Kaz.
That's the only person who's gonna pop in. That or Declan randomly if he doesn't check the chat.
Oh my God!
How are you doing, Kaz? How'd you like this episode of The Last of Us?
I think this is actually the best episode they did.
Really?
The cinematography was stunning. Yeah.
See, like, I'd say yeah to that. Like, I'd agree that there is some really well done shots. And,
yeah, right.
Beautifully set up, but like
the transition from like that bit where Joel was doing the thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of got something.
With us, like
this guy's full of shit. This guy's a liar.
This actress, the actress that plays Riley, isn't like everything.
I thought this episode sucked.
You think it sucked?
Nah.
I wouldn't say
Riley's
sucked.
Is that what you call me a liar, Richard? It's because that's why you think
it was
sucks.
a fine episode. It just didn't belong right here.
Yeah,
I have some major issues with some of the choices on how they acted this episode. Like Ellie behaving like a 4-year-old is weird to me. And on top of that, I didn't like Left Behind the DLC. I thought it was fine. But I feel the same way about that DLC as I do about this episode, where it's like, didn't need to know this.
Was the DLC just her going in the mall? Is that the entire DLC?
It's pretty much the exact same thing as this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Let's go to the mall.
But the mall looks
today.
better. Like, I saw somebody on YouTube like praising the hell out of the mall's design, and I don't know if I'm crazy, but I thought it looked like shit.
Sorry,
like,
I don't think it looked good at all.
I think what you might have been. You might watch. Do you watch Chris Stuckman? Because
yes, exactly.
He was praising the set design. I would agree. I think the set design of the mall looked pretty good for like.
To me, it looked like a mall. Like
that's my problem. Is that it just looked like a mall. It didn't look like a mall that's been abandoned for 20 years.
To be fair, all malls look like that.
That's true.
It's just a mall with his lights turned off and
like so the lights are my biggest problem. Like if you turn a light bulb off and you wait 20 years and you turn it back on, they're not all gonna work.
Yeah, like everything just works flawlessly, but I don't think that's how technology works.
Right, like they just flipped the Jenny back on and every single light in the mall turned on.
Well, not every I'm literally like I mean, if you look through it, like there's lights in the stores that are out. Like certain ones aren't.
Yeah,
on.
but
my brother, you're gonna tell me every arcade still worked though?
Yeah,
the
arcade doesn't even look like it's been touched.
Like, dude, I worked as a mechanic at an arcade, which is a nice way of me saying that I worked at Chuck E. Cheese's when I was a kid. And those things break down just by themselves.
You just look like
that arcade looked like it's brand new though. It looks brand freaking new. Like nothing was wrong with it.
I don't know, for like the vibe of the scene, like I don't really have a problem with that kind of thing. Like that, like isn't a huge problem for me.
See, you guys got like really serious
in terms of what
I feel like I need a balance.
No, Kaz, you're here
honestly, now. Yeah, you're part of this now, buddy. Welcome.
I'm trying to leave. I
No,
just saw you guys were
Kaz,
streaming and like Georgia like had to go do something for a second, so I just came to say hello.
Oh,
to you
the
guys.
only reason you hang out with
Yeah,
us is
okay.
because Georgia's busy.
Yeah.
Of
George
course.
is gone, so now you can hang out with the boys.
Yeah,
Okay,
go with
we
your
get it.
fucking
We get
second
it.
hand here. Go with your side hose.
Didn't take you for a girlfriend guy, but now we understand.
I don't know. I feel like it. Like
I feel like Georgia's changed you, man.
I'll have you know, AJ. When you started dating Sai, I was so sad when you stopped hanging out with me.
Did I stop hanging out with you though?
Yeah, you did. You completely. You just.
yeah, like,
you
I'm not giving that guy,
disappeared.
but, like, yeah,
Yeah, but
it's the beginning of a relationship, people.
I mean, it's been a couple of months. I'm just saying, this has been a while.
Yeah, I've known this woman for 4 years.
Then why is this a problem? Hang out with us more.
Listen,
I would never abandon you guys.
Thank you, Richard.
That's really the theme of this episode of The Last of Us.
did you just leave?
That was funny. I'm funny.
That was funny. But like, chat couldn't the stream couldn't hear. Oh, do they see his little head disappear?
No,
Not
but-
anymore right now.
Oh yeah,
right.
is it still
Stream
broken?
kit's broken. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Oh, is it just OBS side broken?
No,
I think it's stream shit.
They changed
No, that's what I mean.
something about the CSS in StreamKit. And
Ah.
nobody's found a proper workaround yet. I have found something that can work. I'll message you guys later about it though.
Yeah, please.
Sweet.
Like I
Tried going through one of the tutorials that you sent me like a bit ago, and like I don't think that was like updated to what. has
No,
happened.
See-
straight up, nothing works right now.
That's my thing about things. I don't watch like tutorials on how to do stuff. I just want to like be able to read it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
like,
like
look
it
at
to just
pictures.
make fucking sense.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Discord StreamKit's broken. There's a website that you can use right now that can sort of like create individual browser sources for PNG tubing or whatever. And that's been a
Yeah, like I
workaround for
assume
me.
that's how
But
like
that's the only
most
thing I
people would
can
go about
find.
it. Yeah. Yeah, with that, you guys have a good rest of your evenings. I'm gonna see you guys
Man.
later. I love you guys.
Enjoy
Chat.
your potatoes, dude.
See you later,
You call,
Kev.
you call my girlfriend a potato just because she's slightly Irish? I don't actually.
I just
don't
assumed
think
you were eating potatoes. I don't know why you went to that. I don't know why I went to potatoes either.
He's
You know,
Yeah, that's on you.
He's sensitive.
That's not like I'm
I don't know.
sensitive, Richard. That's what we
I'm
call him.
stupid.
Don't worry, you're
Stupid
lovely.
dick.
You're no, Richard. It's okay. Don't worry. Come here. Give me a hug.
No,
Come on, Richard. No, come on.
Okay, all right,
That's it,
all
that's
right.
it. Bring
Stop
it in.
Blush, dude. Everybody's
I
bring
think
it
this
in.
episode was
Look at my shirt, look at my shirt,
relaxing,
Richard.
like not as exciting as the last episode.
Alright,
You
see
know,
you guys
coming
later.
off the high of this.
Yeah, this episode sucked.
This episode was really.
I like the
This episode
small
was
things,
kind of boring for
right?
me.
Where it's like Ellie, since she's not experienced anything, we get to experience this character. Like I genuinely like. I think Chris Suckman even said this, but like I felt for like Ellie when she got to experience the escalator, and it was like, even though I know that Bella Ramsey has experienced an escalator in real life, it felt so genuine that she was like, "What is this magical thing?" Like I fucking love that. Like I think.
I thought
I
it was
just think
dumb.
I think this episode was really boring, especially considering like
That's how I felt.
coming off the high of like the last episode. I was expecting like a lot of crazy like stakes of like shit. Joel's like dying, like he's gonna fucking die right now, and she has to like go out and save him. But like none of that really happened. It's just her just remembering some girl she knew.
Oh, absolutely! Like if that's the
Yeah.
kind of thing that we're talking about, where it like completely kills the flow, like
It
that's
ruined the
why
flow.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that this episode would at least try to mix in some
Like
current day with all that, but
episode 3 like did sort of the same thing where like it had like it came off the high of the last episode, but like it did it in such a way that like told a story that was so beautiful at the same time.
I would go as far as to say that like this episode should have been half of its length, with the other half being what's happening with Joel, or it should have been like a mid-season episode in season 2 or something.
Yeah, like
You
I
can't
saw
just throw this in here after something big just happened to Joel.
exactly. I saw like I like paused it. I'm like, how long has it been? Like on this flashback, it's been 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, so it's probably wrapping up soon. Nope, it's the
Yeah.
fucking episode.
I thought that this episode, because like it was going by so fast for me that like I was like, okay, so like we're obviously gonna have more, and then it ended, and I was like, what the fuck? Like that's the whole thing.
Oh
And-
man, I was like falling asleep during. This
Yeah, it was kind of
episode.
dragging for me.
It was so fast for me. Like it was.
I would occasionally like pause and be like, "How long has it been? It's only been 30 minutes."
I thought that this
Fuck.
episode was like 35 minutes, and then I checked and it was an hour. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like,
I have a really big problem with this episode, and I'm going to address it now.
What is it?
And to anybody who listens to this after the fact, I just want to apologize beforehand. But this is very important to me, and I'm going to bring it up. Damn it! When those two girls sat there and played Mortal Kombat 2,
okay,
and Riley said, "Just press buttons," and then they managed to pull off 2 different fatalities.
Yeah, hell no.
Took me right out, bro. Do you know how to do
Yeah.
Melina's fatality number 2? You have to be up close and hold high kick for 5 seconds and then release. No one just guesses that.
Yeah, and she was like, "Yeah, I came in here and played a little bit before," and then she knew the exact combo to get the fatality for
And then-
Raiden.
Well,
Ellie just guessed the one for Baraka. Like, get out of here,
Yeah,
dude.
that
Get
one-
out of here.
that one's bullshit for sure. But like with Riley, it was definitely implied that she's been here a lot, which was definitely like that was a sad part of the whole episode. Like just getting like
Look, I'm being tongue in cheek, but still, there's a part of me that's like, no, ma'am. You can't just. First of all, you don't just press buttons. If you look down at the cabinet, it tells you what the buttons do.
Yeah.
And second of all, you cannot press buttons into a fatality in Mortal Kombat. You cannot.
Well, like, because Riley told her what the fatality for Ellie's character was. But like,
she?
still, I was like, how the fuck did she figure that out in the first place?
well, she's been there a
Absolute
lot.
garbage.
Like, she's been
Honestly,
going there
the-
a
Yeah, but
lot.
like,
Version-
how? Like, you could do it a million times and still probably never figure out the combo. That
Yeah,
you need
dude,
to
I've
do a
been playing Mortal
fatality.
Kombat 2 since I was a child. There's no way I'd ever just figure out a fatality.
I don't know,
ever.
man. Maybe there's
You
a
gotta look
manual
that
somewhere
shit
around
up.
there. I don't know.
Look, I'm just saying that, like, as this is a very immersive show, and this has ruined it. And I'm of the mind now that if they can't take something like Mortal Kombat seriously, then frankly, I just don't trust the overall sense of stability and
glad you're
immersion in
being
this
tongue
show.
in cheek. Like, let's just
It
say
really
that.
puts the,
I'm
it really
glad.
puts the rest
Dear
of the
God.
season in like a lot of perspective there. Like, it really is a bad show.
Yeah. After this episode, I've just decided that this whole show is trash. So
I thought this episode also like did a really good job of, since we know like that she's been bitten at one point and all that kind of shit. Like the fear was there for me the whole time they were in the mall, even before they showed that there was an infected in there. Like, I actually thought that they were gonna get jumped when they were in the photo booth the whole time. Like, I was
Yeah.
waiting for right when the picture was taken, fucking zombie or whatever shows up and attacks them. And yeah, so it just didn't happen. Tension dropped, and I was like, "Oh fuck, okay." Like, got out of there. I like that kind of shit in this episode.
I did really like that that they didn't show how Ellie dealt with that situation, but it was implied like 3 episodes ago that Ellie killed her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause she was like,
Because
"It's not
Ellie
my
mentioned
first-"
like it's not her
Yeah.
first time shooting someone. So yeah, that was neat. They didn't have to show it. You just got to think for a second. You're like, oh,
But my only
Okay.
problem with that then is I wanted to see the aftermath of like how did like Marlene come into the situation and like get Ellie. Like I wanted to see that part.
Bro, you know
Yeah.
what? You know what my answer to that is? I don't fucking care.
yeah. I kind of feel the same way. I kind of figured like I'm sure the next day Marlene showed up, and you know it goes from there.
But she
but,
went
like,
to go check on well, like, because like Riley was gonna be leaving the next day, so like maybe Marlene was like checking in on where the fuck Riley is and
Sure, but
found
then
Ellie there.
what's the process of then like because everyone else apparently shoots everyone on site who's infected, right? So then like they didn't shoot Ellie.
Yeah, because like she's been there for a full day. Riley was dead. They've been there since last night, so obviously something's different.
Mhm.
I mean, sure, but I feel like the way that they talk about it in this world, they see someone's been infected, like they shoot on site apparently.
Well,
Well,
also
for
Marlene
Fedra-
knew who Ellie was.
That's
Like
true, I
Fedra
guess,
would
too,
do
yeah.
that. The Fireflies wouldn't necessarily do that though. They're built different.
I don't know. I feel like
Different.
from what we saw in that other episode where they all just something went crazy when one guy went infected, like they all
Oh yeah, they're not. I think it's really important to. I wish that the show kind of explained this a little bit better, but like, there's no good guys in this universe. Like Fedra and the Fireflies are just 2 sides of a coin.
Well, I think they did sort of
Like-
cover that a little bit in this episode where they were talking about like whatever
Just a little bit,
establishment you're with, it's still the establishment.
Yeah, for sure. Because like the Fireflies in the game, Fedra feel like bad guys initially, and then by the end of the game, the Fireflies feel like bad guys, and you're like, oh, everything sucks.
Yeah.
Whereas, granted, we're not finished, but the Fireflies to me in this have felt more like good guys.
Not spoiling anything, but I mean, by the end of it, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have the same feeling.
I don't know how they're gonna end this in 2
Uh,
episodes.
yeah, that's my biggest concern. Like,
It doesn't add up to me.
because especially with how it's been described, because Dan has always been saying like the last episode is 45 minutes of pure action. So I'm sitting here going like, so the next episode we have to get to certain places and then have pure action for like just the 45-minute episode or however long it apparently is.
I don't think it's gonna be pure action, but like the next episode, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Honestly,
They're gonna have to do a time skip
Oh yeah, well
They have
for
to.
sure at one point.
because like Joel's not gonna be able to go from where he is now to dealing with last episode stuff that
Oh,
quickly.
I think that there is like a time skip in general from after what we see in the situation that they're in. Like I think
Mhm.
it goes like 2 months or something at least. So
yeah.
Interesting. The show
all I'm
definitely
saying is that
needed
like
more episodes.
yeah, we literally could have maybe just used that 10th episode. That's all I'm saying. Like that would have maybe helped enough.
Yeah.
If I could change things, I would say like the Bill episode and this episode are great episodes that I think would have worked better as like side content. I mean, the Bill episode in particular is incredible. I think it's the best episode in this entire show, but it doesn't progress the plot. So I kind of think that episode and this episode both should have been side stuff. This particular episode, I just didn't care about. I felt the same way I did about it in the game, where it doesn't, to me, it doesn't serve a purpose other than to kind of show that like Ellie's into chicks.
Yeah.
And beyond that, it's like, we don't need to know any of this. It doesn't affect the story. It's not really important. We know she got bitten. We don't need to really see how. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
And I
just
like
to
it.
give a little, much like the DLC was. It was just to give backstory and context and
Just
maybe
providing
add,
a little bit, yeah.
yeah.
But that's
yeah,
the thing,
like,
though,
I
is
think that-
in the primary game, it is DLC, you know, so it doesn't interrupt the flow of the main story.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
it's a bizarre choice to me that they chose to shove it in right in the very end of the main story here.
I think
It just doesn't make sense, like
I
pacing
agree with what you're
wise.
saying, where it was like if they put it in the second season, like halfway through, or even like again, if this season was a little bit longer, I would see it being put more in the middle zone.
They
area.
could have had it as like a one-off, like a season 1.1 or something like that. You know?
That would even be a funny concept, right? Like a little bit of a DLC for the show.
I mean, that's like if I had to do this, I would straight up just do this as like a sort of HBO.com exclusive,
Yeah.
like a 25-minute version of this episode on HBO's website, because then you can get what you want without it interrupting the flow of the main show,
Yeah.
and then give the actual show one extra episode.
Yeah.
But this is also why I make millions of dollars a year as an executive with HBO. So
Yeah.
Because you're making these grandiose claims.
I think.
yeah.
No, keep on going.
I was only just gonna go to like the effect on the clicker or whatever it was.
I was just gonna say that I think like a lot of executives are sort of out of touch with reality right now.
Oh yeah, dude, fucking for sure.
for sure.
I think anyone with millions of dollars is out of touch with reality. To be
Yeah.
honest, but,
They're like, "This is what the people want." I'm like, "I don't know, man. I don't think you know what you're talking about."
like it was, I saw this little comic the other day, and it was like Marvel or superhero movies are gonna be serious. We got to keep it serious. Da, 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 da. And then a guy comes in. The audience giggled at one of our jokes, and then both the executive and the director turned to clowns. They're like, yeah, okay, if they like it, then we're gonna fucking go far into that, then hardcore.
They're like doing it so well, like in phase 3, and they're like, "We just need more stupid jokes."
More,
That's what they like.
more. Kylo Ren'd it.
You know, another weird thing about this episode that kind of caught me off guard was Riley saying that like nobody could see the lights of the mall, that it was like a bunker, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah,
I
like
thought
don't
that
the
too.
lights turn on outside too?
Like you can see the glass ceiling. Like
yeah,
of course you
yeah,
can
like,
see it. You can see it from anywhere.
It's like a spotlight there.
I actually
Right, like
thought
this
that
is a
was
city
gonna,
with
like,
very little electricity.
Because the rest of the show has been very good at doing like Chekhov's gun shit, where they set things up at the beginning and then it comes back later. So I thought that was going to be a thing. that
I thought it was
either-
gonna be like Fedra's
Right.
coming in.
yeah,
you know?
either
like,
Fedra sees it or like an infected like group. And that's the other thing that I'm kind of confused about. I gotta point out, this is in the QZ. I get that like there are pockets of infected things
hey,
in
Kaz,
QZs.
welcome back.
Hi, Kaz.
Did somebody say Chekhov's gun?
I think well, like, it's weird how like they're like, oh, it's full of infected and blocked off, and then they go in there and there's like one infected. It's like, did people like not actually go through this? Like, what?
One that seemed to be kind of out in the open and has been there for a long time.
Yeah, like just little things
It didn't
like that
add up
that
to
are
me.
weird.
Because
Understand the
that
point
does
of
make
the
me
QZ
question,
when
like,
they're truly not quarantined. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah,
not
through
quarantined.
any second.
it's not quarantined at all. And like, even if let's say that there were infected in there, so that's how they handle them. They shove
just
them into
lock
a
them
mall
up.
and lock the door.
Yeah, they're like, oh, hopefully that doesn't break out and like cause a whole infestation. Here.
Hopefully,
Like,
hopefully some two of the fucking children don't break into the mall.
Yeah, the light thing was just a really strange thing, and I think that's pretty much how it went down in the DLC too. But I feel like you could have solved this pretty easily by just having a generator in there with just like a couple of spotlights, and
Yeah.
like, you know, maybe they hook up an arcade machine to it.
yeah,
But like having it power the entire mall and us somehow having to believe that like Fedra,
It's just like a
Doesn't-
bunker.
they don't have like electricians that are like, yo, something's pulling a lot of power and it's coming from over there. That giant beacon of
they
light in the
look
city.
over, yeah.
well,
There's a
because
giant fucking spotlight
even
over there.
earlier in the episode, they showed like that the gymnasium that they're in is like the power there is flickering, right? It's not like that great. So
Right.
the fact that this suddenly gets turned on, I would imagine, is a noticeable
People in
thing.
the gym just like, what the fuck?
And that it was as simple as literally just flipping a switch on a breaker and it powers up the entire mall perfectly.
Maybe it's on a separate grid, man. You don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I can throw that stuff away. I get that they don't want us to focus on that too much, but like if you're gonna have a believable
I will be right.
post-apocalyptic world, then, you know, give me what I want.
I think that the infected should have jumped them while they had their Halloween masks on, because the fear of like having something like that attack you while you have something on your face that like is already hard to see out of, I think would have also
like,
made it more believable that they got fucked up in that situation.
and how cool would it have been too if we got like a POV shot from
Yep.
like them inside their mask, seeing what they see, and like then it, you know, the camera pans over and there's an infected, and we barely see it because they're looking through like mask holes.
Yeah, and
That would have been
in
rad.
Spirit Halloween, like they think that it might just be like a fucking outfit or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Right?
I think there could
You
have
guys
been
get
ways
Spirit Halloweens in Canada?
Yeah, yeah.
I had no idea.
Actually, wait, no,
Very
they might
cool.
not be called. No, there's some sort of Halloween store that pops up all the time. It might be Spirit
Same
Halloween.
thing.
I hope it's Spirit Halloween.
I thought it was strange that the infected just kind of like stumbled out of like a back room.
They
I don't know.
They did not do a very good job of making it like scary.
Threatening?
I'd say, yeah. Like it was like,
Yeah.
honestly, she pulls out her gun and starts fucking glocking it in the face, and I was like, all right, well, it's done. You know what
And
I
then
mean?
she
Like,
got knocked out, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't
I don't know, things like that, where I'm like,
I don't-
could have been better.
Yeah, and I don't want to hate on it too much because it is still a good episode, and it is still worthwhile to find out, you know, what happened to Ellie. And it is important later in Ellie's story for us to know that like she's into chicks, but it's not really important here.
Yeah, and for like, there's just beautiful little moments, I think, right? Like of acting in this episode, right? Like same with the Bill and Frank episode, where you get like
Mhm.
when Elliot actually kisses Riley, and it's like kind of like a vibe of like, oh, was this okay? And then it's like why are you sorry? And then the smile that Ellie gets, that Bella Ramsey gets on her face, is so well acted and genuine in that moment that it's like beautiful to me.
It was a very cute moment.
it gives me goosey.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
It was a very
and
cute
Bella
moment.
Ramsey also like nailed the Ellie voice in this episode too.
Yeah,
more than
yeah,
I think she ever has.
I especially noticed it when they're like talking about the escalator. She's like, "Whoa!" Like the same way that Ellie does it in the game.
Yeah.
Like
The
it sounded
escalator
like
scene
Ashley Johnson.
kind of threw me off a little because it's like maybe this is just because I'm an old man that yells at clouds, but like I don't think I've ever been that excited about an escalator, even when I was like a
Well, like-
5-year-old.
Yeah, but yeah.
I don't
Also,
know, man.
like,
I love the sideways escalator.
I don't know about you, but like I see like escalators constantly being repaired, like all the time.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think
how-
they would survive 20 years of
Yeah,
disservice. That was honestly my biggest problem with the whole episode. Was just like the mall.
The unbelievable,
It did not seem like it had been out of service for 20 years to me. Like there had clearly been some level of upkeep, or
Fireflies.
there's just no way. Could have been. I mean, honestly, if they would have just thrown us a line like that, like, "Oh, the Fireflies have actually been keeping this place up in secret," then I would have been like, "Dope, all right, cool, got it."
Cool.
But without
explains
that,
the
I'm
lack
like,
of infected and everything.
yeah, without that, I'm like, man, these floors seem kind of clean, and it's weird that all the lights work.
Yeah, really, that one line would have just solved a lot of the problems.
I think that the problem with that kind of thing, though, is that, like, people then on the other side would be like, oh, like, they just threw in a thing to explain why, like, it's so shoddily, like, you know what I mean? Like why they didn't make it look better.
I think they
Well,
gotta though, because like I even went and looked at screenshots of what the mall looked like in the game.
Yeah, what would,
And it looks way better in the game. And
Well,
it's like, damn, like they could have honestly solved this problem by just turning the lights off.
Sam, you talking about like people not like really putting their full effort into like keeping things looking nice? Have you seen the gym at the school? It's been
Yeah, it
20
looked
years.
brand
And it looked brand new. That should look shitty.
What? I thought it looked great.
Wait, the gym or what are we talking about?
The gym at the
Gym?
school, like the roof was all fucked up, and the
I think
there's-
it's because I went to an inner city high school.
I didn't. I was
that's
looking
just
at the roof.
what they
in that
look
scene,
like.
If I'm being honest, I'll go back. But
and like the banners that were hanging down were all like torn apart.
Well, I don't think they're giving awards at school anymore.
They take them down.
let me go.
Here,
over
let me
here.
see. Let me see if I can find it.
It's like the
Dude,
opening of
deadass.
the scene, right? It's like
Yeah.
I thought that the gym looked great. It looked like every high school gym I've ever
convinced-
been
Yeah,
in.
it tripped me out like that. I was like, wait a minute, where are we right now?
Like every
Um,
banner on the wall looks like filthy,
Those
and the
certainly
walls
look
look unclean.
those look like I don't know, AJ. You maybe went to a really good high school because like, this looks exactly like my high school.
I mean, I guess these are like 40-year-old banners, but still, take them down, man.
I mean, they want to hold on to the past, maybe in some case. I don't know.
Well, they don't give a shit. You know, I'm sure the Fedra guys are like,
All I'm saying is
cares?
it's been 20 years and there hasn't been very, very good upkeep on a lot of things.
this one Fedra grunts like, dude, I'm not taking those down. I had nothing but a slice of bread today to eat.
Yeah.
I thought that was also kind of
Um,
weird in general, where like the captain of the federal unit or whatever the fuck you want to call it, like was like, "Yo,
Mhm.
Ellie, like here's pretty much the fast pass to good shit." I was like, "Is
Well,
Ellie
I want
really
an
that, like,
alternate
sought
reality.
after?"
I want
I
an
kinda
alternate
like that.
reality where Ellie is like the captain of Fedra.
I was about to say like that was I really like seeing kind of a little bit of insight into how Fedra operates and what they're doing. And
The principal of the school is just the captain.
yeah, and like how so I went to an all boys military Catholic high school. That's a lot, I know. But
Damn, dude.
that's
That
pretty much how
explains a lot.
it worked. So yeah, why I'm so fucking miserable.
Now you're gay and anti-Semitic. Just kidding.
Holy shit.
I'm just kidding.
You heard it here first,
Damn.
folks.
But no, like the captain being the principal is pretty on par for like how those kind of schools work. And like the idea of like I can see that you're smart, you're just rebelling because you're being a shithead. I used to see that kind of stuff all the time. Like I was that kid. So like the idea of the captain saying like we could put you back in the hole, or you can focus the hell up and we'll get you into a position where you can utilize all that spunk of yours, you know? I like that. I thought that was cool. And it does make you think like what could have happened.
What would
If-
Ellie be if she
Yeah.
didn't go to that mall?
If she didn't go to that damn mall, Ellie would have been a very different person.
You think so?
I don't know, man. This episode sucked.
I would say it's probably my least favorite of the season for sure.
Definitely my least favorite. It doesn't actually suck. I don't really think that. I think it's a fine episode.
Well,
I
yeah,
just,
It's a fun episode. I
Comparing
just,
it to the rest of the show, it sucks in a sense.
yeah.
Like the rest of the show has been like 8th, and I'd say this is
Man.
like
I can't wait till this show gets to season 8. where it just drops off incredibly.
I really did like seeing the infected. I think it's cool to see sort of like not quite clicker, but beyond normal infected. You know, it's like a proto clicker.
I think that's been my biggest complaint in this whole show. I was saying this last week because after we rated into who we rated into, it made me really click into the fact that like the game has so much more infected encounters. You know what I mean? Like that you're just going through and holy shit, there's infected. There's so many.
Well, that's what. Yeah, actually, we were talking about that because like there's like the infected aren't really an issue at this point. Like,
we've barely seen them at all.
Yeah. And
That,
even
I
Raiders,
didn't
if I'm
even
being
think about
honest,
that.
like we got like I can't remember her goddamn name, but the character from Rose from 2.5 Men. We got her whole group. That was pretty much it. They weren't even raiders, really. They just had overtaken QZ in Fedra and their.
Well, I guess it is a video game, so it's like we need like danger, and like it really shows how dangerous the world outside QZs are more.
Yeah, I think the problem is that the world in the show feels a lot more empty.
Yeah,
like and I think they've kind of been trying to provide this idea that the infected have been like pushed underground or into sewers or into malls. But it's like, where are they? You know, if they're this threatening, where are they? Same thing with Raiders.
And they're always hanging out in like forests.
Right.
So like, they don't come out this far.
The only Raiders that we've really seen were the 3 dudes that got Joel. Otherwise, we got a community of people that weren't Raiders per se. They were just a bad community.
You could argue
that we've really only seen
people
3 Raiders.
Like, because you could argue that those people might be part of David's group, and that's not really Raiders per se either. You know, like
right
at that point that we start saying that the other girl isn't a Raider, everyone's just a community.
You guys ready for Troy Baker next episode?
If you're right about that, I'm gonna be happy.
I'm pretty.
No, he's definitely playing David. Yeah,
like that's awesome.
Because I don't watch the trailers for the next episodes, but I do like hear a little bit of them before I can turn the TV off. And I don't think I heard Troy Baker's voice, but I heard people mentioning David, and I'm like, there's got to be a reason that we haven't heard his voice.
They just have him listed as some guy named James. He even said that he's gonna be playing like a faction leader, and like a villain. So like it's pretty much guaranteed. They're really beating around the bush, but like beating around the bush in the way that like it takes shape, and you know that he's playing.
I don't want to be that guy either, but like I'm pretty sure that we are still supposed to see like Ashley Johnson, right? Like,
oh, she's gonna be showing up. I think it might be in the last episode.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that would be this episode. I thought this would be dedicated to like a flashback of.
Me too. I was like,
big proportions.
Yeah.
But they were like,
nope.
No, they were like, we're just gonna cover just exactly what you think we're gonna do and not add anything else. That's kind of what I missed from the beginning of the show. Is like getting more information than we had in the games, right? Like that intro in the 1960s, seeing wherever it was in Polynesia. I can't remember.
I like those flashbacks.
I love
this one,
those.
not so much.
Like when we get to see the before it all went to shit is what I really like.
Yeah. Going back to like when you were saying, oh shit, what were you saying?
The not enough zombies. Or...
Yeah. Okay. Like I was saying like a couple episodes ago where it was like they're taking out a lot of the just like the faff, a lot of like the messing around, which I think that is a lot of it. But I do agree that they should do more with like the fucking main premise of the show with the infected.
I even like
a lot of the game is just you walking from place to place and killing like walkers or like walkers
and looting,
going infected along the way and looting.
And that's what I kind of liked in this episode when she was like trying to find like shit in the house to like help Joel. I liked that it was like, okay, this.
Did she
like
find scissors?
Yeah. It felt fucking good. Like I was like,
oh, she just pulled up scissors and duct tape. She's like, I could work with this.
Fucking makes a shrapnel bomb. I also, this is a side tangent, but I liked that. I don't think in the DLC, because did you guys play it or? I don't
know.
I played it. Like, I played it years ago.
I completely forgot that was even a thing.
Oh, okay.
Honestly.
Did they feature Take On Me in that first, or was it only in Last of Us 2?
I don't know.
think that they featured "Take on Me." They did the song in the end when they're dancing. That's from the DLC. But "Take on Me," that's another part of why I thought that scene was weird.
Well, I don't know. That to me was like a cool thing where it set up that she likes this song to have it happen later in her life. You know what I mean? Like, kind of have that. Even though we as TV watchers, like, this hasn't even happened yet, but I'm expecting something as a game person. So I don't know.
The gamer boy.
Like, I'm like, oh, that means something. Even though, like, who knows? The show might not even fucking do anything with it.
Oh, she's gonna take on him.
Oh, she's gonna have an acoustic guitar at one point. It's gonna be beautiful.
She's gonna have. Oh, I was actually gonna give a huge spoiler number.
This episode felt like an episode of Stranger Things and not The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Wow, really? Okay.
Well, it really did, yeah. you nailed it.
The mall getting taken over by, like, the Upside Down. Like, okay, okay.
Coupled with the 80s music that felt really out of place to me. Just didn't this episode didn't work for me, boys.
I don't know. I think
I
whenever
agree.
the show has like an 80s thing going on in it for music, I'm in. I like that. Always gets me.
I think it just could have been better.
I think it absolutely could have been better. I think I heard that also this is the first episode written by Neil Druckmann, or am I wrong?
Oh, maybe he's not that good.
This one was by Neil Druckmann?
Yeah, because I think all the other ones were written by Chris Mazin or whatever, however his name is said.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on this, folks. Let me look it up, maybe.
Druckmann is a concern for me because on the one, I've mentioned this before. I think on the one hand, I like him and I respect. I compared to like Lucas, where I think he did a genius thing, but I think the more control he has over it, the worse it's going to get.
Neil Druckmann, more like Neil Drunk Man.
Hey,
got him. Craig. Okay, the first episode was written by Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann together. All the rest so far have been written by Craig Mazin, and then this one was written by Neil Druckmann.
Yeah, if I ever get to a position like Neil Druckmann, or like George Lucas or anything like that, like I would like beg to have someone like just say no, you know?
yeah.
Like I don't want to be put on a pedestal where I'm looked at as like this fucking like perfect example of what this world should be. It's like that's not me.
Well, I think that's part of the problem, and it's a little weird too because like Druckmann was like the creative director of the games, but he wasn't the only writer.
Yeah,
and it's kind of strange to see an episode that was written in the game by multiple people, by a team of people, then be attributed to just Druckmann for the TV release. And sure, he might have adapted it to a TV script, but it's like you're kind of taking credit for what a bunch of people did.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I think that I've said this before. I'm not a big fan of The Last of Us 2. I like some of it. I don't like all of it. I dislike most of it. And I think it's
Is it
it's
Abby?
the same
Do you not like Abby?
It's not that I don't like Abby. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think that The Last of Us 2 creates tension by retconning character personalities and traits.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of that. It's very, very George Lucas-y. And I kind of feel like he's kind of doing that in the show too. And I don't know how I feel about it yet. I've mentioned in other episodes that I feel like Joel is much softer in the show than he is in the first game.
I feel like him writing it this time is like his idea of what he was trying to convey in the game.
It could be.
Well, if that's the case, then like meh. Because like I agree with Richard, like because he's way better of as a character in the game because of how hard he is at this point.
Well, that's how it is in like the show Invincible, where Robert Kirkman like is like rewriting it sort of like the characters and the story to like flow better and work better in the overall story because it's already written out.
That's a success story, though. I like Invincible is done to where I think most people agree that the animated show is better than the comic.
We have very little to go off of so far. I mean, like
the animated show is amazing.
It's really good, but like,
well, for the equivalent comic panels, I would say the animated show is better. But like as the comic goes on, oh my god!
I follow. Believe me. I just think
that the show will get to that point where it is better to consume the show than it is to read the comic. But
what I mean is like characterization. I think is done better in the show.
That's the idea. Is that like
I think
he's
that's the
rewriting
clear
it this
hit,
time to make it flow and work better in
Well,
the show format.
What it feels like to me is that he's rewriting the characters to fit the way he rewrote them for The Last of Us 2, which I think is an approach that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. Because most people, I think, didn't like The Last of Us 2 because it changed a lot of the fundamentals of characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like Joel is a huge one. Joel does stuff in The Last of Us 2 that makes zero sense to me.
Well, I think it's going off like his character growth in the first one, and then it's been 4 years.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I like the theme in Last of Us 2. I just think in execution it becomes a little bit muddled.
Yeah, I like the idea of like corruption, like revenge corruption, and all that.
Yeah, and like I don't dislike characters like Abby. I actually kind of liked Abby's story.
Abby was
what I don't like is there's without spoiling anything, Joel in the second game. Like, okay, if we go to a scene in the first game, there's a scene where Joel is confronted by people and they're asking questions about him, and he doesn't give his name, and he's just like, we're just passing through, and he's real like controlled with his information.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
And then you go to The Last of Us 2, and Abby and her people are like, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm Joel. That's my brother Tommy. You want to come live with us?
Yeah,
and it's like, this isn't Joel. That's not Joel.
It's sort of like season 8 of Game of Thrones.
I think honestly, though,
exactly.
I think what was supposed to be conveyed through that kind of thing is the fact that, like, yeah, he has completely softened up and lost all of his edge into.
Yeah, I haven't really like thought of it that way, but yeah, I could definitely see where you're going. Where like, I guess I'll have to see like the full story of the first one, then the second one. I'll have to play both of them
for sure.
And like fundamental, like we're saying, like it's just one of those unknowable things, right? Where it's like he did this act. I'm trying to be as vague as possible when I say this. He did this act, which then causes more coming towards him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure. I follow. I think that the Joel in the show is just a lot softer than the like hardened, almost fucking monstrous Joel from the first game. And I don't dislike this Joel. I especially think that Pedro Pascal's acting is beautiful.
They've already
we're gonna get more of that tomorrow, man.
Yeah, I just don't know if this is a version of Joel that I like.
We actually like.
I'll change my mind if I see him hit somebody with a brick.
Yeah, really. It's funny to bring up the name thing though, because like I actually picked up on that too, where it's like in the show he does just give it away like that. Like he doesn't care. Like in the game, like they already set him up in the show to be like that. You know, so it's kind of like to me already setting the stage for part 2.
Yep.
And how he is, but I don't know. Like maybe that's just like us looking into it because we know it's going that way. If it is, maybe he'll fucking completely change Last of Us Part 2 and be like, all right, everyone hated this shit, so like...
I suspect that they probably will, at least to a small degree.
For sure. Like, in the same way that like they changed this one a little bit, even.
Yeah, because I think that The Last of Us 2, I think we talked about this, but it got its share of just like, you know, assholes being assholes and review bombing it. But I think there was also a lot of real valid criticism for the game.
Yeah, it was hard to shuffle through like the fucking people just hating it because it was like a lesbian in a game, you know?
Yeah, but I do think there is a lot of valid criticism for it. And I think that it's overall a pretty divisive game. A lot of people, like if we remove the shitheads and the trolls and we just go by like real critics, it's still pretty 50-50.
Yeah.
And I suspect that if they're going to do a season 2, they're going to want to fix that. They're not going to want it to divide everybody.
You would think. I would hope so.
For sure. I just think that there's like, for me, I'm again, vague as possible. There's a decision made in part 2 that when they even announced that part 2 was happening, I was like, well, then this obviously is going to take place. And the fact that people are shocked that it happened, I am like shocked that they're shocked, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm like, guys, like, this was obviously going to happen if they announced a part 2.
I do absolutely think that if they do a part 2, they cannot structure it the way that the game was structured. Because that would be a disaster.
It's going to be a very different experience, for sure.
Yeah, because I don't want to spoil anything, but everyone knows that Abby's a character in the game. But the way that Abby is introduced in The Last of Us 2, to me, I got to that point in the game and I felt like, all right, game's almost over. And then it's like, oh, No, oh, I got to. I'm this person now.
Like you
For-
even like in the game, Abby's like a playable character, and like the amount of playtime you have as Abby is kind of annoying.
Well, because it's
It's
one
frustrating,
of those things that a lot of games
And you
have
don't
nowadays,
like her.
where like games go on too long sometimes for me. Like I'll be totally
Yeah.
honest, where I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
game, like you.
Like when I was a
Overstated well
kid,
enough.
it was like this game is 100 hours long. I'm like, that's awesome. And then now I'm like 100 hours of story. Oh
yeah, you
my
gotta. We gotta cut that
God.
down to like 20, or I'm not gonna be able to play
yeah.
it.
Yeah, like I can only dedicate so much time to a thing like that, and especially if it's like a Last of Us game, right? Like,
Or if it's like a game where it's like we also have like a million collectibles. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna want to get all those, and I'm
Like-
never gonna finish the story.
that Ewan McGregor meme where it's him like smiling and then just looking like very contemplative of like, oh shit, like I have to collect all these.
Because like that's what was happening with Hogwarts Legacy, where there's so much to collect in that game. I'm like, I'm gonna just do some collecting right now and go back to the story, and I spend like 5 hours just collecting shit.
I'm so
This-
thankful that I'm not into Harry Potter that much because like that game would probably be dominating my life right now.
Oh my! I have 46 hours in that game. Like easily, like 3/4 of that is just collecting shit.
The moment I saw it was open world, I checked out. I was like, nope.
It's
I
it's
can't do
really
this.
good though. Really
Hey,
awesome.
hey Richard, do you want to start playing Hunter Call of the Wild with me where I walk around
my God.
slow as
Yes.
fuck?
Yeah, you walk so. Dude, playing Hunter Call the Wild right after playing the Sons of the Forest.
Yeah, where you're moving it. Yeah, like that's been my
Well, no,
biggest
like because like
complaint.
I'm in the forest and I'm like hunting shit. I'm like, there's gonna be a cannibal hopping out here somewhere.
I think
You
I'd
can
probably
move
really like
faster in the
Call of the
forest,
Wild.
Yeah,
I know it's an open world hunting game, but like I like hunting.
Yeah.
So I think I'd probably
we should
enjoy
play,
that game.
man. We should play.
it's actually really good.
It's pretty
yeah.
fun.
I'm in. Only if I can cover myself in deer pee.
I think you kind of can.
You could the spray they have in that is actually just an attracting spray to like
Yeah,
have animals come to you.
It's pee. It's pee. Dude.
Isn't there like a
Yeah.
hide thing though too, like that your like scent gets like masked,
I don't know if they have like a spray for it, but they have like a you could just like
like a powder? Isn't
not
it?
maybe I don't know.
We'll look into it for you, Richard. We'll look into it.
Hell
They might. They have a lot of cool stuff. I got my dog. His name is Green Eyes.
I got Duck Hunt.
I named her Green Eyes because Sai's niece was on the phone, and I asked her.
You
She
said
just
you
said
have a
Green
dog
Eyes.
named Da Cunt?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I call it.
Oh. All right.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I spent like an hour tracking a deer one time. Yeah, the first time I played, I spent like how long do I have in that game? I spent a long time trying to track something and just constantly getting distracted by different footprints.
I'm in New
See, that's the
Zealand
kind of
right
stuff
now.
that I
And there's
love
not
doing.
a lot of big fucking predators in New Zealand, so I don't have a lot to worry about. Kind
You're
of.
in New
Sure.
Zealand?
Wait, you can go to
Also,
New Zealand in that
Quokka.
game?
You can go so many. I mean, not so many places, but you can go like.
What do
I
you
was
do
in
hunt
Russia.
in New Zealand? Like New Zealand doesn't have any land predators.
No, exactly. It's very weird.
I'm in Russia and there's like fucking grizzly bears everywhere.
Yeah, dude. Oh, when there's bears around, I love that shit. Cause then
I
they
shot
should
one in the
charge-
head.
Yeah, baby.
It didn't go down though; it just ran
Yeah,
away.
no,
man.
like those fucking bears. Like I whenever I hear a fucking bear warning call, it's like, and shotgun is coming out.
Yeah.
That's how they could have made this episode better, actually, is if they put bears in it.
If they have like
Bears
mutated
beats
bears,
Battle.
hmm
Hey, question, and this has probably been answered already. Like, this whole infection doesn't affect animals, right? Like, this is just a human thing.
I think they planned to have it infect animals, but like I think they scrapped it.
Like, in the game,
Yeah, I
or the
don't
show.
think I don't think in the game you ever see any infected animals.
Oh fuck! Sorry, I got jump scared by a part in the game. Jesus Christ!
Wait, playing Call of the Wild right now?
No, I'm watching who we're gonna raid into for the
Oh, I
Last of
see.
Us, but a clicker suddenly showed up around the corner and got me. I have no audio,
Yeah,
but it
that
still
happens.
got me.
Yeah, they have the images, the art of like infected lions and stuff,
What the
infected
hell?
gorillas.
What a
Oh
different game that would have
no!
But I think they scrapped that idea. I think that was meant for like the end of the first game.
Fucking the giraffes show up and it's just infected giraffes.
Oh, cool giraffe and bites you out.
No!
That would suck, dude. I got bit by a horse once. It broke every knuckle in my hand.
Oh my
Oh
god!
my God,
Dude,
yeah, dude,
that
they-
sounds horrifying.
I'm just playing.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I believe it because like
Fucking Jesus, man.
there's a reason that like they tell you to like go palm up when you're feeding a horse.
I have been bitten by a horse. It just didn't like break my hand like that.
That motherfucker will break your hand.
It does hurt. It's like getting bit by human teeth. Just big flat teeth.
A bloater
It's
giraffe.
fucking-
There's a
have you guys
picture of
ever
a bloater.
like bit your fingers when you're like eating like hand food and realize how
Yes.
intensely you
What?
bite?
Well, like,
No, what the hell?
No, you don't know what I
eat
mean?
your food.
only when I was
Shoving
like,
your
really
whole
young.
fingers in your mouth?
No, like if I mean like nachos or something like that, if I accidentally catch a fucking finger and like, oh my god, like I'm
Wow,
eating things.
fast.
That has-
nachos. Dude.
I can safely say that I have never
Sam,
in my
like,
life
like,
accidentally bit my hands while eating nachos.
Really?
When was the last time you did this, Sam? Because
Probably,
like I
like-
did it when I was like fucking 5, maybe.
No, I eat nachos a lot, so this was probably like last month or something like
Bro, you
that.
gotta
You
keep your damn fingers out of your mouth, bro.
I'm just going, man. I'm freaking shoving them in.
like the only thing stopping a human from biting off their own fingers is their brain. Pretty much just telling us like, don't do that.
Something's just a little bit wrong with Sam.
Always, dude. I think I've acknowledged that fully in my life.
just shoving your whole hand in your mouth and biting.
He's eating his nachos a little too
wild.
fast. He's gonna come back missing a finger. How did you
can't
lose your
believe
finger,
you
Sam?
just-
Nachos.
I was eating nachos too fast. I bit it off.
This man just said this shit live without any like asking like it's normal. Like, no, that's not
you guys
normal.
ever bite your fingers? I'm like, yeah. When I'm like really young, I remember doing that a couple times.
I don't think
When
I've
like I didn't
bit-
have
as
the
an
dexterity I
adult,
do now.
I've never bitten anything on my hands as a grown man. Not
Yeah,
once.
no.
You guys need to eat your food faster.
Wild.
Insane.
All right. On that note, do you guys have anything else you want to say about the episode?
This episode sucked.
It was all right.
It was all right. All right, we
It
are
was,
gonna rate.
it was my least favorite.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We're gonna raid into Ableton Sports. We did this last week. They're doing another no damage grounded permadeath whole game run of The Last of Us. It's fucking crazy to watch.
Bro,
Wild.
next week we're gonna have so much Pedro Pascal to talk about.
Well, it's
Oh,
gonna
we
be,
are.
We're gonna have it for like a hot second, and then it's gonna be over because like
And it's gonna be one Pedro Pascal again.
yeah, we can only handle so much Pedro Pascal at one time.
We're gonna get really steamy and like actually like on Thursday. This week we're gonna have a lot of Pedro
Yeah,
Pascal.
we're talking about that already on Thursday.
seen the internet
so
memes? Like, he's-
insane that that's coming so fast.
Pedro Pascal is like that's the meme. Is he's the sexy internet daddy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
with his cocked leg. You guys seen that one?
No.
He like pops his leg out in every show he's in, like the same way. It's like his go-to look. It's beautiful.
There's a clip of Bella Ramsey calling him sexy internet daddy, and that made me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I don't like
yeah,
that
it did.
at all. But I guess she is
Yeah, that
like
was weird.
older than
She's like
18,
20.
so it's whatever.
She's 20 years old.
Yeah,
She does not look like it though.
No, she does not. It's kind of weird. I don't like people.
I don't like people.
People are like really sneaky and elusive beings, and I don't like
I
it.
just stay at home and eat my own hands all
It's
day.
true, honestly.
Eat
That's
my
why I
nachos with my
order in
fingers.
nachos and don't go outside ever.
Eat your nachos
Oh,
and your
man.
fingers a little too fast.
Damn, I'm about to order some Taco Bell. All right, McClunky.
McClunky!
Easy peasy. I